St. Augustine this evening, the Mike Davis Show, and oh my gosh, do we have a show here for you tonight. We have all kinds of guests here. We've got gifts here on the front table. Oh my goodness. And you know, I have to tell you, the one thing I hate about my staff is when we have exhaustive pre-production meetings. This has got to stop, guys. I mean, I know you guys have a lot that you want me to get to during the show, but we can't do hour-long meetings for an hour-long show. I just lose focus. Nice work, Blake Blevins. Nice work getting us up and running in under 4 minutes. That was amazing.
Well, he came in on my timeline. I didn't realize he had to produce the show. I would have left at least 38 seconds earlier.
I wasn't panicked. I knew if Blake walked in here with 30 seconds to go and somehow it took 4 minutes to power everything up, he would figure out how to get it through the flux capacitor and beat the Kobayashi-Maru test. I knew that Blake could do all of those things. Kobayashi-Maru. Okay. That's a test that Captain Kirk passed that no one else passed at Starfleet.
That he cheated on.
Exactly. Yes, you're kind of guy.
Blake didn't cheat.
He didn't have to.
I would have passed that test.
I know you. Blake's like, cheating? Suddenly Blake is freaking out over there.
You and Blake would not have passed the test. I would have passed the test.
I would have figured out how to win. I would have been winning bigly.
You would not have cheated.
I'd have been winning bigly. All right, we got a great show for you guys. Let's make a little bit of money. We're in the old Uncommon Ground setup as well.
Yeah.
Which is kind of amazing.
Well, I usually sat on that side, though.
I know. I'm just messing you up.
So, yeah, I'm a little confused here.
All my stuff is over here.
But I appreciate you giving me the easy reads.
I gave you the easy reads. All right. For over 50 years, Epic has been a beacon. I sound just like Pete.
I'm glad you took the pressure off me. I haven't done a read in over 2 years.
Let's see if I can get anything right, because Pete struggled the other day.
Wear your sunglasses.
I don't have it. I put my glasses on. It might help. For over 50 years, Epic has been a beacon of hope for our community, providing compassionate care for those touched by substance use or mental health disorders. Whether you're a kid, teen, adult, couple, or family, Epic is here to lend a helping hand. With a range of programs tailored to meet diverse needs, Epic offers accessible solutions for everyone, from their walk-in access center to their mobile response team, from inpatient detoxification to outpatient counseling. Epic provides comprehensive care every step of the way. Their services include psychiatric evaluations, medication management, medication-assisted treatment, care coordination, peer support, suicide prevention training, and parenting education, and much, 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 much more. Give them a call. Epic's here to help you. They've been doing it over 50 years, and they're absolutely amazing at what they do.
Davey wrote that read, didn't he?
Yeah. Davey wrote the first half, and then ChatGPT wrote another 700 pages.
I think this one's one I wrote way back in the day. Here we go.
Way back in the day.
Short and sweet. The team at South State Bank is a group of bankers you can count on. Their approach to building long-term relationships with their customers is the best in the business. If you're looking for a banking relationship you can depend on, check out South State Bank. They have 3 locations to serve St. Augustine, State Road 312, State Road 16, and the beach. Visit their website at southstatebank.com. Member FDIC. All right. Bear Kresge and Associates is a full-service local CPA firm with a team of skilled professionals dedicated to provide top services in areas of tax compliance and planning for businesses, individuals, estates, and trusts. Audits, reviews, and other accounting services, business valuations, forensic analysis, and litigation support. Give them a call at 904-460-0747. You know why they're good? They keep me out of trouble.
They have. That's their record. That is their record. All right. Let's get this together. Amanda's not here to carry part of this, so you guys are all in.
All right.
Land Title of America, the oldest title company serving the oldest city. Whether you realize it or not, when you refinance the sale or purchase of a home, there's a title company involved. Don't get stuck with some out-of-town title company who doesn't give a crap when you're faced with challenges. Stay local and choose Land Title of America. Just call or text Stephen Collins, 904-501-4481. He specializes in all types of real estate transactions, all types. Land Title, your local title company, ensuring America's land one title at a time because
they
give a crap. Blake, that was weak.
Blake, that was not necessary.
Incredibly weak. If you think that's going to get you any extra points during trivia, you're wrong.
In early.
Man, I compliment him on firing up the system.
And then he does that.
And then he does that.
Yeah.
You can't take kids anywhere today.
Yeah.
You just can't.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Oh my gosh, sir, I feel let down.
Wait, hold
I
on.
feel so crushed and let down.
Wait, hold on, Mike. For me being weak, are you not going to call me a DEI hire?
No, you're not. No, I would never.
No, you're an
insult you
Nepo
that way.
baby. Let's be real about this.
You are a Nepo baby. Lenny's the DEI hair.
Thank you very much. Because I'm from New York.
He's from New
and
York.
a Democrat.
That's right.
Exactly.
Before you go to that,
Yeah.
Jimmy Jam Community Outreach is helping young Troy. Not this Troy, but young Troy. He's recovering from ankle surgery from an injury he suffered while volunteering at this year's Jimmy Jam Barbecue Slam. He'll be out of work for up to 12 weeks, so he could use some help. So on the weekend of Sunday, February 16th, you can get a $15 rib dinner with 2 sides, a $25 brisket dinner with 2 sides, or a $35 full slab of ribs. You can order online at jimmyjamoutreach.com. Amanda had the link in yesterday. She'll have the link in again on Monday. Order by February the 10th. Look, we're helping this great young man who was out there, it suffered an injury.
He's a great young guy. I
Not
mean,
like old Troy.
Hardworking.
This is young Troy.
Young Troy, when I was young Troy, I used to work hard.
When you
Not
were
so
young
much
Troy,
now.
you did.
Not so much
now.
All right, but, and I'm going to have to challenge you, Mike, because we do challenges.
Yes.
I bought 10 meals for $15 for needy families and left it up to Jimmy Jam to find a family that could use those.
Which meal? How did you do the meal?
I did the $15, just the dinner.
The $15 times 10.
Yep. So for $150. So I challenge you to match me and let Jimmy Jam find 20 people to.
They can find 20 people.
I know they are wonderful, and they know the right people to get these dinners too. So,
well, Troy, I'm going to do 11 dinners.
Okay.
I'm just going to get right out there and tell you right now I'm doing 11 dinners because I'm not tying you at anything. So I'll take care of 11 dinners this weekend. Mm-hmm. I'll make sure they get ordered. I'll reach out to Jimmy Jam and tell the guys, hey, just 11 dinners, and I'll probably even order 1 or 2 for me.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be having bourbon.
You know what I'm going to
tasting.
do the day up?
Yeah.
I'm going to go there and say, how many did Mike get?
Hey, guys, if Troy asks you how many Mike got, the answer is 21. 21.
So, just to meet you.
Just to meet you. All right. So, 11 dinners is what I'm on the hook for.
All right.
Man, this year's starting out in my wallet, but it's a good cause. Young Troy needs some help.
And let me tell you right now, this young man, when he got hurt, I went out to Jimmy Jam, and everyone's like, I heard you got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, I'm fine. I just got here. And then I did see Troy. Troy went to the hospital and came back and still was volunteering at Jimmy Jam.
Yeah.
So I saw him on the golf cart while he's still working. I was like, "You doing okay?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." Yes. But he banged it up. He banged up that leg pretty bad.
Yes.
So.
And you brought me a gift today.
I did.
Is this in green? I was promised green, but the color I saw was black.
Okay.
Not that I have anything against objects that are.
I think it has green highlights, where mine is black and yellow. Yours is green.
Oh, that's an obnoxious green. I love it.
Yeah.
I will not lose that.
It's very Seattle Seahawk of you.
Yours actually has a car charger that goes along with it that mine doesn't have.
And a little handle.
Yeah.
So when I swing it.
Oh, it'll do some damage. It's got some weight to it.
Let's see how that does. Can I knock your hat off without hitting you in the head?
Please, no. Let's not do this. There's no apple on the head type stuff.
So, that is like a William Tell hat.
Yeah, it's a William Tell hat, but let's not do the apple on the head.
That's always been your train conductor hat. See?
Yeah.
It looks like the front of the train.
It's my steampunk.
Yes. Thank you so much for this.
Yeah.
This is amazing. I'm going to take it home. My wife is going to say, where are we putting this? Mm-hmm. I said, in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And then she'll just look at me like I'm really crazy, but I am charging this tonight.
Well, I think I charged it already for you.
Cool.
So it's already charged.
Awesome.
And, when storms come, if you do lose power, you can charge this with your car battery, and you can charge it. I always keep mine pre-charged.
If your shots are up to date, you're welcome to come use the ice bath.
Oh.
It's about 50 degrees right now. So you're welcome to come jump in the ice bath.
There will be shrinkage.
Yes. That's an understatement.
So I'm trying to fold it back properly.
I wondered if you were going to put everything in, and I knew your OCD would kick in if I just left you alone.
No.
And look, you brought yours with you too. You brought your little R2D2.
I have my R2D2.
Can we just put the name R2D2 on the side of it just so you're? Or is that BB?
It's BB
88. Is it BB8 or 88?
Yeah.
BB8.
BB-8.
BB-8.
Okay, good.
Well, BB-8's actually more orange, but
so
too nerdy.
The eyes
I want
are
to go
there.
through the whole. So we were R2D2 C3PO. You were BB-8, right, in your world. Lenny, for those of you that are really old, was Huey, Dewey, and Louie.
Thank you very much. That's exactly right.
You know who they were, right?
I do.
Yes. What
They're
was
the
the name of that?
nephews.
Savage something or other. I can't remember the thing, but
I thought he was more our gang.
our gang. No.
Alfalfa.
The
Spanky,
little
yeah.
robots. The little robots that were in the movie where they were on the spaceship and they were floating away through space.
When you said Huey, Dewey, and Louie,
I was thinking Donald Duck's nephews.
No.
Yeah.
Huey-
DuckTales as well.
Huey,
Yeah.
Dewey, and Louie were the
Yeah.
little robots in that really weird movie.
Oh, is that Mandalorian?
No, it was back in the
Way back in the
1970s when you were a kid.
Oh,
He was,
I
you
was a
know,
kid.
When you had hair and you lived in New York and
I
you
was
were
a kid.
cool and yeah.
See, Buck Rogers is where I would have went.
You were going to go to Buck Rogers? Yeah, but that was more like the reboot was in the 80s with that stupid little whatever he said.
Oh, yeah.
That was horrible. And then he had the guy that he wore around his neck that was a whole nother dude. And then Flavor Flav stole the whole thing in the 80s. Boy, we have gone through the entire world of rap.
The 80s.
Oh my gosh, the 80s, the 70s.
The 80s were good to
I wish
Flavor
I could
Flav.
remember the name of that movie.
News you. The
they were on a
2020s ain't so bad for Flavor Flav
Yes,
either.
Flavor Flav has done well.
Yep.
Yes, he has. Okay, we have all kinds of things to talk about.
Yes.
Do you look good in there?
No.
Okay.
No, I'm beside you. So beside you, I look good, but I mean, as a
Okay.
whole, as a group, it's not. It's not
Any comments on the airline crash? First of all, it's a terrible tragedy.
awful.
I was getting ready to go to bed last night when the news broke, and I stayed up and watched a few minutes of it. The network I was watching had it on pretty much all night long, which it didn't have a lot on because it would just kind of update saying we don't know anything. I think 64 people on the plane, 3 in the Black Hawk. But I did find a story that the FAA was way understaffed. So the FAA, supposedly, I think they're supposed to have 30 people on staff, and they've had 19. Which Reagan International is one of the busiest airports in the country. You have all the military traffic around the Pentagon and the president. I mean, Joe Biden didn't use the helicopter the last 4 years, so they had that one out of the way. But I mean, all the other people were using helicopters. So, but if that's the case, that's really sad that we couldn't find staffing and we couldn't find people to be there. I'm hoping that's not the case.
I'm still concerned about like how this could happen because the airlines are so structured. They stay in the exact same flight pattern. You know, if that person got outside that flight pattern, I don't understand how that's even possible without some major, goings on. So my immediate thought was what was going on with the military side of it because they have less restrictions in certain situations and scenarios because the airlines are very structured and you're flying this way and then you're turning this way and it's like its own roadway.
Yes.
Where a helicopter can fly kind of
Right.
any vector they want to do. So I'm very I want to see what kind of created it instead of casting the name or the blame game,
Yeah.
which is out there in a lot of different ways because something communication wise was broken down and visually broken down because you visually are supposed to be aware of what's in your area, especially if you're in a high traffic area like that.
So we're going to find all this out, and I don't want to speculate. The one story I read, I'm going to read you the paragraph to me, which is full of speculation, but the air control tower at Reagan Airport has been understaffed for years with 19 fully certified controllers as of September 23, which is a year plus ago. However, staffing targets set by the FAA and the Controllers Union call for 30. So that means they're a third down, right, if you do that. But here's my thing. If they were understaffed for 18 months, 15 to 18 months, and they didn't have an accident, I mean, when you say they're under, I was like, okay, apparently the understaffing, the people that were there were doing enough of a good job that for 18 months you didn't have an accident. When I read that, it doesn't make me go, okay, that's the point. I agree with you. Something happened because you have an airline that has rules, you have the military that has rules, and you have the FAA right there. And somehow, I don't know where the mistake was. There had to be a catastrophic mistake somewhere in the system. So,
Well, in the slower and smaller give way to the faster and bigger. you know,
Is that why you always get out of my way?
yeah. That's all right. You're definitely bigger, but you know what? You're definitely slower.
I
too.
was faster on that joke. It's much faster on that joke.
First time. Well, people are trying to still figure out if it's a joke. But
You're catching up.
the slower and smaller are supposed to give way to the bigger and faster. So you're in commercial airspace. I mean, there has to be something that went on between the Black Hawk pilot and communication, or the Black Hawk pilot got distracted or something along those lines. I cannot, in my mind, think of a scenario how it could have been the American Airlines pilots.
They were moving both of them to a different runway, I believe. There's supposed to be a separate air traffic controller for helicopters and another one for commercial air traffic, or for just planes as opposed to helicopters. There was one person doing both, I believe, instead of one each. And apparently they both acknowledged the change in route from the
And he took it to the
communication.
same route?
That I don't know.
No one knows. And
Right,
I
that I
don't
don't
want
know.
to speculate a ton, right? I mean, we're going to find
Right.
out because they're going to do an investigation.
Mhm.
Obviously, it's a tragedy. There's always that human error element whenever you have human beings in the mix. And, you know, there's a lot of people involved in this. So, I feel terrible for the families that lost, but there were some, the guy that was waiting for his wife at the airport who got a text from her, we're landing in 20 minutes. And then he texted her back and nothing came back. I mean, that just some horrible stories. So,
Yeah.
But I mean, and what it is, usually the air traffic controller will give you, hey, this is where we're going to be. This is how you're coming in. And then you repeat back, I mean, all the numbers back.
Right.
So, I mean, those tapes are going to be very telling at that point if he took them to the same location.
I think there's enough information. I don't think, I think by Monday, Tuesday, we'll have a pretty good idea.
Yeah, both black boxes should tell the story.
Right. And it's only 8 feet of water for the helicopter. They haven't gotten the two pilots out yet, or they hadn't when I left the house this afternoon. But it's in shallow water in the Potomac where it happened, apparently.
And no one wants to go through this, the families especially, right? But the new Secretary of Transportation got
20 minutes ago? Yeah.
20 minutes ago, and it's like, hey, here's your, you're on fire. So I'm not going to say anything other than, I feel bad for the family.
But I will ask a question. How does DEI play into this? Because apparently the president has decided that DEI is to blame for this.
I'm not going to comment on any of that.
Okay.
I don't know what information he has. So until I see everything, I'm not commenting anymore beyond, I think somewhere in there was a catastrophic failure.
Right.
And so we're going to find out what that is. I don't know what caused that failure, right? Sometimes it's mechanical equipment. Sometimes it's human error. We'll find out.
Right.
So to me, as a system, if you had 18 months to find 11 new air traffic controllers and you didn't, I want to know why that is. But also, I just said I gave them credit for 18 months. If they had 19 people,
Right.
they ran it without an incident or without a catastrophic incident. And we'll find out, were there multiple incidents a day and the pilots just were able to avoid it? Or I don't know.
There hasn't been a midair collision in the United States since the late 70s, the late 1970s. So this is obviously
In traffic, in where air traffic
commercial
controllers have control.
Right. Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's been some where
Bumping into each. Yeah, but
There's
that's me taking a plane up and meeting you halfway. The two cars in Kansas.
there's uncontrolled
Right.
airports, like
Right.
the land's an uncontrolled airport, so you have to communicate with everybody, and there's been accidents on airports like that, but air traffic control there hasn't been.
Right.
And these guys are these men and women that do this, these air traffic controllers, stressful job.
Oh yeah.
But I can tell you, everybody I've ever had communications with, they know their stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
if you mess up talking back to them, they'll be like, hey, repeat that, 192. And
Were you 192?
that was my tail number was 192. So, and you have to repeat it back to them.
Yeah.
And
That was your IQ score. Would that make it very high?
that would make it very high.
Okay, just checking. All right, just say, is that why you chose that number?
No.
I'm just asking.
My
But
IQ was only 142.
I also don't know that, since the entire Reagan thing where he let go of the air traffic controllers and they basically were starting all over again. I mean, we're going back a ways. I don't know if they've ever come up to a full complement, in all honesty.
All of those people have retired.
Yeah.
Oh no, I understand it.
So,
No,
so
right.
Lenny,
You
what
mean
may have happened is
they're not wheeling them in. They're not wheeling them in.
That was 19.
Oh, I'm coming. Hold on. Could you fly slower? I'm not up to speed yet. I'll be with you in a moment.
It was 1980. They yelled out the
81.
window back then of the tower.
It was
I mean,
1981.
But I'm not sure. Did they ever come back up to full
I'm sure.
compliance?
I'm sure. It's
not.
a government agency. I'm sure they at one point.
Well, that gives me pause.
They were overly staffed.
Look, I don't know. We'll find out the answer to it.
Yeah.
It's tragic. It's amazing the amount of flights that fly into some of these airports.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That there's not
Does it happen more frequently?
more frequently, right? So I give the airline industry and the air traffic controllers credit for that. And that is a very busy space.
You know,
There was actually a couple of Democratic elected officials and maybe even a reporter who blamed Trump for the whole thing. And I was like,
I mean, even I'm not going there.
I was like,
His comments.
seriously, let's figure out what's going on. I mean, one of the things we've always said is let's find out what happened. I don't need to guess at it.
Right.
When it happens, we'll report it to you.
And and I'll give them props if they come through with this because they say they'll release the report within 30 days, which for the NTSB or something of this nature is really pretty quick. Because NTSB can take a couple of years before they can release a report on an air traffic problem.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'm going to read what Bobby put in here because this is one of the things I was saying. It says reports he read said the helicopter pilot was asked by ATC if he could see the plane because they ask you if you have visual on it, and he said affirmative. All right. When that happens, now that's slower. It becomes his responsibility at that point. So, like I said, I want to see some of those reports.
Yep.
And what I'm thinking, he might have had visual eyes on a different plane.
It's possible
than
in that area
because it's so traffic driven, and but at that point, the air traffic controller.
And
I think I'm a really good driver. Last night I'm driving home, Anastasia Boulevard. The car in the left lane is going slow. I'm getting ready to go around in the right lane. I don't see anybody in the right lane. Right, I do the look, and I hit the blinker. I start to go over, and all of a sudden there's a car there. Well, the car didn't magically appear. It was always there. I just couldn't see it because for the second I looked, maybe it was in a blind spot. So I was in a car. Right. I could react to that and change that. And then the other day I had the same, a guy in a white Bronco almost take me out, doing the same exact thing. So I made the same mistake he made a couple days later. So, yeah.
Yeah. And it's not like there haven't been occasions where something horrific could have happened. And fortunately it hasn't, but every couple of months you see a near either midair or, where there's a plane landing, another plane taking off, and one either's got to go back around. You've got a lot of video of that these days. There's two planes on the same runway.
Some of it's actually not AI generated too.
Yeah. Will we ever know this? Will we ever know the difference?
No, we won't.
That's
the
what's
ones that are
frightening.
going backwards, I know those are not the real. I'm pretty sure those aren't the real.
And when the wings are flapping, it really
wings
changes
flapping,
everything.
I've only seen one plane like that ever.
Yeah, Fred Flintstone.
Yes, Fred Flintstone. Exactly.
So I can tell you one thing: technology sometimes is dangerous too, because the little mirror things where somebody's in your blind spot.
Yeah.
If you have those, and then you get in a car that doesn't have those,
Right.
Yes.
it can really screw you up because you get so spoiled by them. I still always try and look and stuff like that, but you do get spoiled, and I've caught myself where I was like, oh, wait, I got to really look in this one.
So here's every day that I drive to work back. So let's say it's 10 trips, 5 in the morning, 5 at night. I'm going to tell you 30% of the time at least, I see one car that's driving at night on the way home without any lights on,
Really?
or their parking lights on, or in the morning to work, somebody with their parking lights on. Now, everything is automatic, so I'm trying to figure out, and a lot of the cars are newer cars. So I don't know whether they hit the button, went old school and thought they were turning it on and turned it from auto to parking lights. And the way you can tell is there's a little bit of light in front of the car, but the brake lights and the tail lights are never on.
They're not on.
And I beeped at people to get, and like looking at me, they're flicking me off. And then finally they realize and they wave at me like, thanks, man. I'm just trying to keep you from getting killed.
That's just
in my Atlas, my knee can hit the button as I get out. And it's
That's a weird place for
turned
it.
it from auto to manual. But the other vehicles, it's always on
And the
auto.
other thing
That's the only time that's ever happened.
And the other thing to be aware of is if you give your car to a valet, they have a tendency to turn the lights off. So if you have your set on automatic lights and you don't ever think about it because the lights turn on when you turn your car on,
Yes.
valet turns it off. You could be driving for 10 miles before you realize it's dark out.
And I gotta take exception with Troy talking about his lower extremity. Right? There's no way your knees are bigger than normal knees. I'm sorry, Troy, that lower extremity is not bigger than anybody else's.
You're probably correct. My lower extremity that hit it was not my knee.
Okay, all right.
It was
Now
my-
we're getting somewhere.
my elbow.
Now we're unraveling this mystery. Now we're getting there. Oh, shit. Okay. You guys want to do Florida or you want to do national before we get to trivia?
Dealer's choice.
Let's do the Florida. There was a
Yes, do
special
Florida.
session this week. DeSantis calls the legislature in. Now, a year ago, if DeSantis had called the legislature in and said, I want to do A, B, and C, they would have said, excuse me, Governor, you're the greatest governor in the history of Florida, and you might be the next president. Here's A through Z.
Right.
We just threw in some extra letters, 23 extra ones in case you needed it. This year they do the session, and he's like, I like A through C. And they're like, we were going to basically do numbers and backwards. So count from 1,000 back. And then they gave it to him. And so we've wasted money as taxpayers trying to get a session together to have tougher immigration laws in Florida. I'm a bit perplexed by the Republicans in the Florida House and Senate, who to me just fumbled something that should have been really easy to do.
Well, you got to consider even the Republicans that are coming from extremely Latin-based constituents. They have to be very cautious on any of their policies because instead of doing the right thing, they do what gets them reelected. And sometimes those two don't match up.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that it has more to do with it than they don't want to do what the governor says. I think it's more self-preservation.
That's not doing what and again, it's because the governor can't help them.
Right.
The governor could help them potentially a year ago if he won, or 2 years ago during the prime, right?
He could give them cover.
He could give them cover.
Right.
Now they're like, okay, your term's up. We got to start making our own way. We got to start making our own name. Somebody's got to emerge as a potential. And I still think Byron Donalds is the guy for governor next
So does Donald Trump.
I think Byron's a great guy. So, all right. So that's that. Anybody watch any of the hearings with either RFK Jr., Kash Patel, or Tulsi Gabbard and have a comment that is relevant?
Well, I have a comment.
Yeah.
I said relevant.
No, I have a comment. No, I have a life. Why the hell would I watch that shit?
Okay, that's relevant. That's the most relevant thing you've said in years on this show.
So no, I did not watch any of that.
I'm so glad you're back.
Yeah,
So-
You don't ever get to do this while you're doing the weather in the morning.
no.
So explain to me then how all of a sudden RFK, who is making money, pimping people to sue vaccine makers, is now all on board with vaccines. This man was anti-vax as far as the world can see. And now, I love vaccines. I know, vaccines are good. So, he's flipping-flopping for political expediency.
Where have I seen that before? Democrats. That's where I saw it before. I knew I saw it somewhere.
Right.
Let's
Well,
go
it's
a
because
little- let's go a little
Republicans.
broader.
That's because the Republicans.
Politicians.
Thank you very much.
Politicians.
Because I was going to say Republicans are on the wrong side and they stay on the wrong
We
side.
don't have to just keep it in one. Let's just go politicians.
That's good. You are being relevant today.
No, I mean, and I don't, like I said, I didn't watch any of it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. RFK, he was a pit bull before he got in there. And now it's another situation where it feels like he's self-preservation. Like he's answering for self-preservation.
Right. What do you want me to say? Exactly.
Yeah,
I'll say
so-
that.
And once he gets approved, we'll see what happens at that point. Because I think
Right.
it might flip back the other way.
We had a Supreme Court justice who a few years ago couldn't define a woman because she wasn't a biology professor.
Okay.
All right. The Supreme Court justice couldn't define, which was self-preservation on her part, because at that time, if she'd said what she thought a woman was, it might exclude half the Senate, which the majority of the half, which were Democrats at the time, enough of them from voting for where she said the wrong
The
thing.
majority of some, well, not
So-
a majority, but a bunch of them were women.
Yeah, my thing on RFK Jr., I've heard him say lots of times in interviews, they're painful interviews to watch.
Yes.
His voice is a little grating,
Right.
right? But he has a lot of... Thank you, RFK Jr., for showing up. Very, very kind of grating a little bit, but he's got some good points. I've heard him say
I'll take some offense to that.
multiple times. I've heard him say, "I'm for vaccines. I just want safe vaccines." Right, and they have changed the vaccine schedule for kids tremendously from when we were kids. I mean, I don't know if you remember as a kid, we went to the doctor. It seemed like every other month for a shot. They have bundled a lot of these shots together now, and there's more of them. I think
there's way more.
Yeah,
and I can tell you, like, and people, with two boys with autism, people, say, "Oh, are you an anti-vaxxer?" I'm not an anti-vaxxer, but I am against the schedule of bundling all the vaccines in one package, and they overload these babies. I mean, we can probably handle it as adults, but these babies can't handle it. And my theory on that, and I've said it a lot of times when we're on Uncommon Ground, is I think you're already pre-wired. Just like you might be allergic to to a bee, but you've never been stung by a bee.
Right.
And these kids have a reaction because of the way genetically they are set up. Like, and a lot of people don't realize this. If you have one child with autism, the second child has a 300% higher chance of having autism. All right. So that means it's genetic based just by that number alone. So you're already predetermined. So when people ask me with children about vaccinations, I say, stretch them out. Just stretch them out. I'm not an anti-vaxxer in any way, shape, or form. I think, most of them are pretty good, but I think a lot of them are financially stimulated. And I don't know if that's going to go away, and I don't have enough knowledge to know which one's good, which one's not. So, there's it's easy right now for people to go, I'm just going to stay away from it. But I think in 20, 30 years from now, we're going to see the results of people staying away from it. I think the pharmaceutical companies have hurt themselves in the long, long run.
So here's the interesting about that Elizabeth Warren went off on RFK Jr. yesterday. Bernie Sanders went off on him yesterday. Bernie Sanders went off again today, talking about him making money from
onesies.
The onesies was yesterday, which was just stupid. I mean, I was like, seriously, that we're talking about somebody who's in charge of so much more than that. And somebody put out a onesie that they thought was a joke that you might find offensive. Get over it, move on. There's more important things to do. And you're yelling at him. But today he shot at RFK Jr. something about taking money. And I'm paraphrasing all this. And RFK Jr. said, well, Senator Sanders, you're the one on this board who accepted the most money last election cycle in 2020 from the pharmaceutical company. I did not. It was $20 donors. You accepted $1.5 million. I got $20 million in donations. You still accepted $1.5 million, which is more than anybody else on that board. I mean, to me, Warren apparently is one of the other ones who's accepted quite a lot of pharmaceutical money because she sits on that committee. Whoever the comedian was in the 70s that said these guys should wear patches for everybody that sponsors them. I mean, it should have said Pfizer.
It's probably George Carlin.
Whoever, probably was. I mean, it may have been, right? But you've got people up there questioning RFK's integrity when they've taken money from the same people that RFK wants to go investigate.
Well, there's a lot of people who live in a glass house that have a handful of rocks.
It's called Washington.
So,
yes.
Yeah, okay.
So, both sides.
Oh, yeah.
The other one was Shifty Schiff going after Kash Patel. And he went after Kash Patel as though he was as clean as the whitest, most pure snow ever. And I don't mean cocaine. I mean just regular snow. Because Hunter would have been buddies with him. But it was just, you watched him and I was like, are you kidding me? You went out and lied every single day about Russiagate. You may or may not have leaked information that you shouldn't have. And you have the gall to sit there and call somebody who actually served in law enforcement, call them out on the carpet. I was like, this is absolutely, I just think it's ridiculous. Yeah. I don't think the Democrats have helped themselves in any of the questioning because of the tone of the questioning. I don't think they have.
4 years ago, we would have the same conversations in the other direction. I mean,
I don't think, I don't think there are more Republicans when this is over. I'll be willing to bet you more Republicans in 2020 voted for Biden's nominees than Democrats are voting for Trump nominees. Okay. There are Lisa Murkowski and Susan Collins basically voted for everybody Biden put up, and are now bitching about the people that their own party are putting up. I'm shaking my head.
There's Biden's nominees were, in my opinion, humble as it may be, qualified for the positions, as opposed to some of these people that are fringely qualified for these positions. And I think that's part of it, because you've had other people that are Trump's nominees that have sailed through.
Yeah.
You know?
So
here's
Pete
my,
Buttigieg
I have a question.
sailed through.
Pete Buttigieg is the brightest man in government today.
I don't think he did a decent job at transportation secretary at all.
I got $1,000 from JetBlue. Thank you very much.
I have a question for Lenny.
Yes.
They might have sailed through. Do you think they did a good job?
The people that sailed through from Trump for Trump's
For Biden.
For Biden.
Biden depends on who.
I mean, I
think
didn't see a
Buttigieg-
whole lot of great performance in the last 4 years.
Give me
Lloyd
for
Austin,
instance.
was an abysmal Secretary of Defense.
Okay.
And I like Buttigieg. I think he is a smart guy, but I don't think he was in the right position.
Well, it was
I-
one that
I
they
just-
could get him into because, everything else is being taken.
So
But, I think he did a fine job. I think he tried to focus a bunch of things, and I think he had a huge mandate.
I think they put him in a position to keep him relevant, to try and keep him within the strength of the party.
Okay.
I don't think it was the right position for him. I feel,
I don't think he did bad in the position of Secretary of Transportation.
Here's where I think he should. I think he should have.
He
been
wasn't
an
driving
advisor.
the train through Illinois.
I think he should have been an advisor to the president, and maybe we would have known a little bit more about how far Biden had got away. Because I think Buttigieg is an honest guy.
Absolutely.
I believe he is an honest guy, and I believe he would have been the guy that goes, something's just not right with Joe. And I don't know if anybody else out there on that side, because they're so protective of their own party, that would have done it. But I think he would have been the guy if he was close enough to see it. I think he would have been the guy who might have said, we got to do something different.
I think if your staff doesn't know you're there, right, that's a bad sign. He was on paternity leave for a couple of weeks before his staff even knew he was on paternity leave. I don't think that's a good sign. If Troy didn't show up tomorrow morning for the morning show, people would talk. They go, why is that chair empty?
Because they wouldn't know what the weather is.
Yes. Yeah.
But you got to take it from the other. You got to look at it from the other perspective. He had a thing running so well that he could be away for 2 weeks for paternity leave, and everything was fine.
Lenny, in my opinion, airline travel was fun in 2019. It has never recovered from COVID. It has never recovered from the slowdown and the pickback.
No.
Airline travel right now sucks. It is no fun. The delays are horrible. There's so many people in the airport. Every airline is packed. When's the last time you were on a plane that wasn't
and how many
100%
less
full?
flights are there?
Yeah.
How many less planes are
Who's
there?
in charge of that?
Let me
The individual airlines.
let
You
me
can't
throw
be putting
this
that
out
on
there.
the government. The government can't mandate send 5 more planes and fly 6 more routes.
Wait, you did mandate a lot of things that required people not to work anymore.
Well, apparently
I'm
they're all coming
just
back.
saying.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Again, every airline that I'm aware of is a union-based workforce. All right? So now they've jacked up that to the point where you have to jack up the prices, which now you're going to have less people flying, and you're going to they've
It's cyclical.
outpriced themselves. And I believe at one point the unions were very, very necessary. I don't believe now the unions are as necessary, because the unions created safety in OSHA, and those things I believe are 100% necessary. But if you go to any business that has a strong union base to it, I don't see them doing, they're that strong.
Sometimes they're their own worst enemy.
Exactly.
They don't know when to say enough is enough. They push, they try to squeeze every egg out of the golden goose. And at a certain point in time, they've got to realize that the golden goose is done and out of eggs. So where are we getting you more money to keep you going?
Yeah.
So there's a fine line between, getting competent and contemporary wages and benefits and being able to have the organization that is providing them stay in business to support them.
Yeah.
So, I agree. And believe me, I'm a very strong union believer. I got a background in education in that. Education is important, people. Practice that at home. Safe education, please. But, they've gone to the mat too many times. These wildcat strikes. If the company's not making money, you're not getting a pay raise.
Yeah.
The company's out of business, you're not keeping a job. And you've got to find a way to broker that for everybody's benefit.
The thing is their hatred. The union has modeled to hate the rich, or to hate the successful, or to hate the entrepreneur. The union kind of has held on to that for almost 100 years now. The union's been around about 100 years, and they it was a mantra. It was a mantra that worked in the 1920s and 1930s, and I get it, but they've held on to that. Lenny, how many times is a poor person giving you a job?
Poor person can't give me a job. They don't have a thing to do. Fine. Okay.
So the rich people are the ones giving the jobs.
Right.
We shouldn't hate the rich people just because
unless they wear a hat like you.
Oh,
If they wear a hat like you, we're allowed to hate
I'm not
them.
rich like you. That's why you give so many more jobs. But the hatred that's spun out of that is coming back to backfire on them too.
Well,
Let's do trivia.
Okay.
Because the union busting you guys can talk about on Bollox. They're going to do union busting tonight
We're
on
doing
Bollox.
lighter stuff. We're doing boardwalks and piers.
Boardwalks and piers?
Yeah.
So next week, can we do River Rouge and the Pinkertons and going in and hitting people on the head?
Yes.
The
There
history
you
of the
go.
Teamsters.
History of
We're
the
not doing
Teamsters
that
next week.
We're not doing it that direct. We're doing
labor strike.
Hey,
Doesn't exist.
This is my building, so I don't want any damage to the building. I'm
not
just saying that right now.
We're not
I
being
don't want any
direct.
damage
We're
to the
not
building.
being direct like that.
I don't
All
want
it
any
sees is the means of production.
Picketing outside.
Bobby
It's
asked
warmer.
a question about the automatic lights. When they go on, does the dashboard light up? Yes, but the dashboard also lights up when you have your parking lights on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why some people think my inside lights are on, so my outside lights are on. All right.
Okay.
Groundhog Day is Sunday.
Phones down.
Groundhog Day is Sunday. PETA feels like Hoxatani Phil has been abused. That just
God.
because he's disturbed from his sleep, that it's unkind and we should change that and we should not have an animal involved in Groundhog Day anymore. It kind of defeats the purpose of it being called Groundhog Day.
I would think.
So instead of Groundhog Day, what have they suggested as a reveal for whether or not winter is over or it's got, 6 more weeks? Okay, so what do they suggest as the reveal, Troy Blevins?
Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay, Blake?
I'm gonna say, trying to chime into like a Groundhog Day movie reference. I'm gonna say Cher.
Cher.
Pineapple.
No, that's for a different group.
And well, upside down or right side up. Right. Depends.
Okay.
We're not bringing the villages into this. Leave them alone.
Leave them alone. Yeah, don't leave the village. That would have been loofahs.
Okay.
That would have been a colored loofah.
No, they have upside down pineapples.
I get that too, but the loofah is also on the parts. All right, vegan cake.
That's so frightening.
Vegan cake. And if it
How is
comes,
that going to crawl out of the hole?
I don't know how. I don't know.
More
got
importantly,
no
how's it
legs.
going to taste?
It's got like vegan cake.
Yeah, thank you.
Like vegan cake. Like vegan cake. All right, Blake Blevins.
Oh, geez.
Which magazine compared Melania's photo as the first lady to a freelance magician? Which magazine?
Hadn't heard that one.
Freelance.
And I'll help you. It's a fashion magazine. Which one of the fashion magazines?
Vogue.
I'll go Vogue.
I'll stay with that one.
Vogue is the answer.
Yep.
Vogue is the answer.
That was
Donna
her-
had nothing to do with
That's
it.
her official
I
portrait.
had Vogue
Yes.
and,
Yeah,
and
okay.
Cosmopolitan.
Yeah,
How do you
amazing.
think Cosmopolitan's still around?
That's where I was. That's what I was like. I don't know I didn't know if either one of them were still around.
I don't even
Yeah,
know.
Vogue is. Yeah.
All right, Lenny, Denmark this week
We're back.
announced that they are going to spend this much money to upgrade Greenland's defenses.
$2 billion.
Denmark has $2 billion.
Well,
It's left over from World War II.
they're gonna melt down the little mermaid statue and take the gold out of it.
Yeah.
I'll go with a much lower number, and I'll go $50 million. Maybe a big gap in between.
I'm gonna say 1.9 billion.
Can't get it right if he had it right the first time.
$2
$2 billion.
Who is Denmark borrowing $2 billion
I
from?
don't
Greenland, don't be silly.
They don't have $2 billion.
No, but they got a lot of rare earth minerals up there.
They honestly do not have $2 billion.
Oh, maybe they'll jack up the rent for our bases.
All right, Troy Blevins. Corporate media was rushing to brag about Joe Biden having more viewers for the inauguration than Donald Trump. Okay. And on cable TV, Joe Biden did have more. But how many viewers on X watched the inauguration?
On X.
Mm-hmm.
I wish this is one Blake went first because I'd cheat off him.
Good to know.
I'm going to say 80 million viewers.
80 million viewers.
I'm going to say 420 million viewers.
Okay, that's the world, but okay.
420.
80, 420. Lenny, a lot of room
No,
here.
the world's
All
8
right.
million.
I'm gonna go. X may be what it is, but I'll go 79 million. You did 80. I'll do 79.
79 million. Lenny is on fire today. It was actually 36 million views on X.
And I'm learning how to play the game.
Yes, 36
That's
million.
right. I would have been more comfortable going last on that one without a doubt.
That's absolutely.
So Biden received an average of 34 million views on the cable networks.
Mm-hmm.
Trump received an average of 25 million, 24.5 million on the cable networks. But Trump had 36 million views on X alone, and then another 5.2 million views on his own personal YouTube page.
That has to do with, is that over a minute holder? Is that over a 3 second? There's stages of that.
I fully get
Right.
that. But the same stage is true of cable.
Right.
Not everybody
Yeah.
sat there and
Click,
watched the entire
click,
thing.
right.
Yes. Not everybody did that. So, okay. Blake Blevins.
He's crushing us, Blake. Come on,
I
man.
know.
We got to
it's 2
team
to 1.
up.
Texas oil and natural gas
Ooh, I was afraid of this one.
broke a record, multiple records in fiscal 2024, including paying this much money in taxes and royalties, according to the Texas Oil and Gas Association.
Rich
Why would
people
they
don't
lie?
pay taxes. It can't be true.
Well, I'm going to tell you, every
That's what
dollar,
Democrats say.
every dollar that got paid in this, the American people paid. So the American people
Right.
paid a
Thank
record
you.
number of taxes
Exactly.
Right.
because that's how it gets passed on.
Let's talk tariffs.
But,
Yeah.
but Blake, I love tariffs.
Thank you, President McKinley.
I love tariffs.
Be
Okay.
careful on the steps.
What do you got?
Thank you, President Denali. Okay, what the hell you want me to give you a number for?
How much money
How much
did
money did
the
they
oil
spend
and gas
in taxes?
in taxes? The Texas Oil
Right.
and National
From
Industry.
Texas.
Just
No,
Texas.
right.
Just
Just
Texas.
Texas.
Not
Oh,
the
oh.
other. Just Texas.
Okay.
200 million.
20 million. for
200
200 million.
200 million. Okay.
200 million?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll go an even 1 billion.
I'm going to go $1,000,000,001.
The actual answer is $27.3 billion.
Oof. See, you're learning how to play the game too.
No, I would have been well in the billions.
Yes.
You actually, I thought you were going to challenge me a little higher there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So
Well,
that-
because it was only Texas.
Yeah.
Only.
But if Texas is just by itself and you take out the rest, I mean, they would be the fourth most producing oil in the world if they were in
Yeah,
their own
okay, yeah.
country.
Mhm.
So
translates to 74.8 million every day.
Okay.
Every
Thank you,
single
Texas.
day.
And,
Texas.
and we can't get our country out of debt.
thank you, Texas.
No, we can't because we wasted on other
What did
stupid things.
green energy pay in the
They're
entire world?
probably not a nickel.
They got
Not a
all they got
nickel.
all the rebates back.
Yes.
Right, exactly. It went out. They took the Texas money and gave it to people to put mirrors on their roof.
Lenny,
Yeah.
you're up 1 on Troy. This is going to be a tough question, but it's right up your alley. Elizabeth Warren made what suggestions for reducing the debt? She was trying to get ahead of Doge. She said you should do these things. There were 2 things she suggested reducing to reduce the debt.
All right. It's a tough one. From
Silence
Elizabeth.
was not one of them. I
Yeah.
promise you, silence was not one of them.
Well, it's a yes or no answer.
Yes.
No. 2 things to reduce the debt.
Yeah.
She said, well, she wouldn't say defund the military, but
You got nothing.
I got nothing.
Troy, you got anything?
I would say in reducing the debt, I would say taxing actually cryptocurrency.
Okay. Blake, you can take this home. 2 answers.
2 answers. I'm gonna say.
I only did one at a time. I thought we were going around. Okay.
All right.
Do you want another answer, Troy?
Go ahead.
Good, because I can think a little bit if it comes back to me.
My other answer would be refinancing China. No, that's a Republican thing. That's the smart thing to do.
Okay. So none of us are dumb enough to answer this question. Go ahead, Blake. See
All
if
right,
you can
all right.
excel.
All right. Spend less on the military and I'm also going to say less money towards law enforcement.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, you're kind of like half right, but not exactly. She wants to reduce arrests. If we just stop arresting people, then we don't have to spend money on
Ignore when they
arresting
break
them.
the law.
And then, we just
Right.
go ahead and let them keep breaking the law. And the other is defunding charter schools.
Okay.
Because if you've got a failing school in a minority neighborhood, you should just leave that failing school there and not allow those children to have the opportunity to go study somewhere else.
And that pendulum is swinging so far the other way that pretty soon everybody's tax dollars are going to be sending on charter schools and soon to be religious schools. So
Is there a problem with it? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I just read
I'm
that
just
thing called the
saying.
Constitution.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to do alcohol
Woohoo!
consumption,
Oh,
annual expenditures on alcoholic beverages. Okay. So which group spends the most? Gen Z, millennials, Generation X, or boomers? Which group spends the most? Troy Blevins.
Well, I think it's down to the two older ones. I'm going to go with boomers.
Blake?
Gen X.
Since I only know what a boomer is and the rest of them all blur to me, I'm going to go boomers.
Okay.
it's your generation or mine?
Smart to play the game that way, because that way if Troy's right or wrong, you're there.
I'm sticking with them. I
You're
know.
sticking with
What
him.
time is it? Are we done
yeah,
yet? Did we ask enough questions? Can I vamp for 20 minutes?
You got 9 minutes to just bomb this thing out. You're only up one.
Yeah.
Both of you are right. It is boomers. Would you like to guess, Blake Blevins, the amount of money that boomers spend annually on beverages?
As an individual or as a group?
As a group. Boomers as a group.
Oh,
Let me help you out. It's less than what Texas oil and gas paid in billions. Let me just help you out there.
all right. $2 billion.
$2 billion.
That's a lot of drinking, man. That's a lot of liver surgeries. I'll go 1 billion. That still may be way too much.
I'm going to go 999 million. $999,999.
So actually, Blake is back in the game now,
Okay.
right? He's only
So
one
it's over
behind
two.
you. The answer, it was 27 billion for oil and gas.
37.
Boomers alone spend 25 billion on
$1
alcohol. 25
He's drunk.
billion.
Freaking Nayland.
Holy
Billion.
cow.
Right.
Put it down.
All right. Good thing we got Bollox next. Good thing we got Bollox
Wait,
next.
you
So-
gotta drink a lot of cognac anyway.
Well, yeah, the expensive stuff, right.
So this is going to Blake. So Generation X spends 23 billion. Millennials spend 23.4 billion.
Millennials outdrink X?
They're right there. Yeah, they just by slightly, by a couple million bucks. All right.
Never seen a
How
millennial
much
outdrink.
money does Gen Z spend annually on alcohol? Blake, being a Gen Zer, tell us.
Well, I personally spend $0, so good on
Is
me.
that your answer?
No, it's not my damn answer. I'm proud of myself that I don't waste my damn time drinking this damn
All right,
alcohol.
answer. You've said damn 4 times in the same sentence.
Damn. 16 billion.
16 billion.
I'll go. How much did us boomers drink?
You guys are
Boomers were
27
25.
25.
Yeah, no, I'll go 10 billion.
That
seems high as well.
I'll go 16.1.
What was Blake's answer?
16 billion.
Okay. So the actual answer, my God, he's smoking everybody today. Only $3.13 billion. That damn kid is onto something.
Yeah.
You were right. You just had the wrong number. You didn't give your own generation credit for being smart like you.
Hey, there's definitely a lot of influence with people that are currently juniors, seniors, postgraduates. They really do need a drink after
But
after their final exams.
Here's
I thought it
here's
was when
the
they
other-
wrote their student loan check.
Here's where I made a
God.
mistake.
Yeah.
What are
There
student
is-
loans?
There is less Gen Zers of drinking age than the others right now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Gen Z is going to, that number will increase
Right.
because there's going to be more getting into drinking
There's never
age.
going to be as many as
And-
there are boomers.
No,
Right.
no. Well, there's just not
There's
gonna be
never
that-
going to be
there's
as
not
many
gonna
as
be
there
that
are
many
boomers.
numbers.
No, that's right.
So the raw numbers in that group, I should have went in the other direction. So that was not good on my part. Bad strategy.
Everybody in the comments picked boomers, by the way.
Yeah.
Everybody's got a point out there.
Except for Blake.
Except for Blake,
Right.
yeah.
He saw how much I drink.
Okay.
Got to be dead.
So Gen Z, reasons to abstain from alcohol. Which one is the number one reason? Religious or moral reasons, long-term effects, social media presence, hangovers, or dislike the taste and smell. Which one is the number one reason, Lenny, that they would not drink?
And expense is not an option.
Expense was not on here. Those
Those
guys have their parents' credit card. The money is not an option to them.
Fair enough.
It's not like us.
Okay. What was the middle two?
You had religious or moral reasons, long-term effects, social media presence, hangovers, or dislike the taste and smell.
Look at long-term effects.
I'm going to go with dislikes the taste and smell.
There's a lot of fruity stuff out there.
I'm also going to say I dislike the taste as well, but also wouldn't be surprised if also another reason was looks like seeing family members like impacted by it. But
That would be
so that'd be
long-term
long-term
effects.
effects, yeah.
Would be that way. So.
All right. So who had dislike taste and smell? You.
all three of us.
Like, no,
I had
he
long-term effects. I think they're
No.
smart enough to know that they're all going to die if they keep drinking.
Did you
but-
have dislike taste?
Yeah,
I dislike take.
Okay. So it's dislike. 51.7% don't like the taste and smell. 48% don't like hangovers. 41% long-term effects. Religious or moral reasons, 28%, and social media presence, 20%.
You got to go to better bars and have better bartenders making better tasting drinks.
I can't believe one of the choices they prefer weed.
Yeah.
They prefer weed.
Well, Gats Kathy's comment, they smoke pot instead.
Yeah.
Fully agree with that.
Yeah.
All right now, Lenny, you've got 5. Troy's got 4. This is a construction-related job.
Oh gosh.
According to the Association of Building Contractors, construction, if spending continues at this rate, how many new jobs will construction have to add to keep up to the demand?
Is this nationwide?
Nationwide. Yep.
Total number of jobs, not percentage of increase.
Yes.
I'll say they have to add 12 million new jobs.
12 million new jobs.
I'm gonna say 17 million new jobs.
17 million.
I'll go 15, and I'm wondering where they're going to find them.
They need to add 439,000 new jobs.
Hey! I was only up, what?
You went 15. I
You
had
went
12.
15 and 12.
Oh, I was trying to go under you.
Yeah, you didn't go under. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, for the tie. Oh, my goodness.
now
I
we
told you
gotta
I don't
go.
do math.
Oh, gosh. You were right there. You were there. Bobby actually gets a point. Okay. And Amanda's watching us too. All right. So this is the tiebreaker. All right.
And I get to go last.
Headline.
I feel like it's a Tuesday night.
Headline. Carrie Underwood sees streaming numbers tumble after performing at the Trump inauguration. All right. Her streaming numbers fell. According to entertainment data, Luminate, her music was streamed 1.46 million times on Monday. Down what percent from the previous Monday? So how much did the numbers go down Monday to Monday?
Percent, Blake.
Yep. After she performed, her streaming numbers went down what percent?
47%.
Blake is at 47.
I'll go 50, and that's just because she's out of the news all of a sudden.
I'll go 51. I can either get a point.
You had it. You were so right there. You were just right there. It only went down 6%. You guys are still tied.
No, but either I can win or because he was pinched in the middle.
I know.
I felt like it was like 30, but I was like, no, I'm going to pinch him. So he can't. I was hoping Blake gets the point or I get the point.
What was crazy about the article is it's like Carrie Underwood's numbers tumble.
Yeah.
Right? And I go, oh my God, how much did they go down? I had to read. Oh, down
6%.
6%. I'm
Yeah.
like, that's just a new song coming out from some other artist.
Do you have room for one more question? So
Oh, we got one more question.
Lenny gets to
All
go
right.
first.
Again?
All right. The
No, he went
national
first on that one.
debt. The national debt, thanks to a lot of bad spending by a lot of bad presidents and a lot of bad Congresses and a lot of reconciliation bills.
Fairly spoken.
The national debt now tops this much money per person in the United States. And we're going to say this is legal residents. because we don't want to change any of that.
And this
so,
includes households.
per
Per
person. Per person.
Yeah.
So divided by 340 million.
Correct.
303, 340.
340.
I would say the average. Oh, wait, you go first.
Oh, I
I
go
was
first?
waiting for you
You
to
go
commit
first.
Harry Carey right there.
You go first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
47,000 a person. I got to do math again. See, there's no pens around my
47,000 a
That's
person. Troy?
times,
Troy?
times 400 million, 340 million.
I'm going to go 69,000 a person.
Blake Blevins?
So how's
47, 69.
Just in honor of Amanda.
what was
There's
my
a
guess?
lot of
What was my
69
guess again?
He's 47. I'm 69,000.
I'm gonna say 110,000.
110,000.
That's ominous.
You know, we're just going to leave it at a three-way tie with 5. 106,000
Wow.
per person.
Yeah.
106,000 per person.
Yeah.
So Blake,
They
you
take
came
it-
back from
They take your credit
dead.
card? Yeah, right.
You were done. You had you had 1 point in the middle of
If I'd
this
have
thing.
played for the win
Yes.
instead of the tie.
Yeah.
I left the door open and you guys walked right in.
You didn't let one person tie you. You let the whole room tie you.
Yeah,
in.
wow.
All right, what's on Bollox
You
tonight?
should see us on a Tuesday.
We're doing boardwalks. I focused on boardwalks, you know, because my childhood at Band Shell in Daytona
Yes.
and some of those things. And I'm sure Lenny made it to Atlantic City a couple times.
I have.
Remo!
Props.
Oh,
This
show
is,
him-
this
hey,
is a piece
show
of
the
the
camera.
original the second Long Beach Boardwalk. What?
Long Beach Boardwalk. Oh, okay.
That's cool. All right, you guys tune in tonight. It's on at
Come around here
6:30.
somewhere.
What are you drinking tonight?
We haven't decided that yet, have we?
We will take
Syntec.
something from either Citygate Spirits or the distillery. We do every other week. We go outside and then we come back to our local.
In and out.
Yeah.
Got it.
So
Okay.
it'll be something from our local distillers.
And Amanda did a great job this week on the morning show.
Oh, it was a
rocked.
fun show.
Yes.
It was a fun show.
Finally, I laughed during the morning show. I'm just kidding.
Well, you don't get a lot of our jokes.
I don't understand them. There's nobody sends me any notes on what those jokes actually mean. I don't get them.
Cliff notes for it.
I don't get any of the cliff notes. So you guys are awesome. Tune in tomorrow to all the shows. Tune in to Bollox Night 6:30. We will talk to y'all later.
Have a nice weekend.